Hi, this is Sensei Grout, and this is my Kaleidoscope. It's an old-fashioned toy. You see, there's two tubes that rotate around each other. One tube you look into, it has an eyepiece and you look into it, and inside of that tube are some mirrors. At the end of the second tube is a window that lets light in. And inside that window, there's various colored pieces of glass. As you look inside of the kaleidoscope, you see wonderful patterns of color. As you turn the second tube, the glass pieces tumble and the color patterns change. Some people looking in the kaleidoscope will see a pattern that they really like and they become attached to it. They don't want it to change. But then one of the pieces of colored glass moves, or the second tube gets turned a little, and the pattern they loved so much and wanted to hold on to is gone. Many times these people get disappointed and upset and even cry and whine that they've lost their beautiful pattern forever. But if we look closely at this situation, we find that the pattern is not really gone. It's not really gone because the kaleidoscope is still whole. It's not broken. There's no missing or broken parts. Everything that created that beautiful pattern in the first place is still here. You see, the true identity of what we saw was not the color pattern. The true identity of what we saw was the kaleidoscope. And one of the properties of the kaleidoscope is change. We see the patterns change, but the real thing creating those patterns and changes, the kaleidoscope, stays whole and complete, and it doesn't change. Looking through the kaleidoscope, we might call one color pattern Sally, and we might call another color pattern Mike, and maybe a third color pattern we might call it Joan. We might say that each pattern dies and doesn't exist anymore. But that would be wrong, because everything that created Sally, Mike, and Joan, the real thing that created Sally, Mike, and Joan is still perfectly whole and not broken. No part of the kaleidoscope went into non-existence. You see, the true identity of those patterns we saw is the kaleidoscope itself. Each of those patterns were part of the same identity. They were expressions of the same identity, the kaleidoscope. But I'm talking about something bigger than this kaleidoscope, aren't I? What I'm talking about has many names, but I'll just call it existence. Our existence. And with careful thought, you can prove for yourself what I say. And you don't need to believe me or take what I say on faith. You can know what's true. And personal knowledge of truth is worth more than faith in what any other person says. Existence is whole, and it's not broken. The science of physics supports this. Existence is the source of all the patterns we see. All the rocks, all the birds and animals, all the people, all the stars and galaxies in the sky, everything comes from existence. And even though what we see comes and goes and changes, existence doesn't lose anything. Nothing of existence truly disappears. Existence is never broken. And there's only one true identity that has created you and me and everything we see. We are all part of this one identity called existence. Just like the kaleidoscope, existence rotates and changes and moves, but everything it started with is still here. It's not broken. No part of it has disappeared. There's no such thing as non-existence in existence. Now I know these ideas can create mental conflicts if you haven't explored them before. But I'm hoping this helps a few of you that are seeking some answers. I'm hoping you find the source of happiness in these ideas. Anyhow, this is my kaleidoscope, and you know what? I keep it on my shelf to remind my smaller self, my ego, of my true identity and yours.